Radiating from the heart of America and stretching from coast to coast and border to border, welcome to On Radio, the wireless industry's weekly download coming straight from the builders and newsmakers of everything wireless. Your host is Jim Tracy, and this is On Radio.
Hey folks, and welcome back for another week of On Radio. I missed last week, and so Ethan, he wants to know where I was, and he's got some questions for me, and we're going to provide some answers not only for him, but hopefully for you as well. So welcome back, wireless family, to On Radio, your wireless connection into the World Wide Web. Hey Ethan, how's it going, bud?
Hi, I'm doing well.
Ethan is the producer of On Radio, and he's been an amazing guy. I'm just the guy who sits in front of a microphone, and he does all the work. So it's kind of a good gig, but at least for me. Ethan, how is it for you?
well, you talk about last week. So, I got to wrangle Jim once in a while because he's a busy guy. And so I give him the call, and I go, hey, we need it on radio for this week. And he goes, well, what do we got? And then I end up calling a bunch of random people that I've never met before and going, hey, you don't know me from Adam, but could or would you come on radio? And that's kind of how it works. And then I deal with everything from that point. So
the industry-leading wireless podcast that's dominating the airwaves. Am I right? Heck yeah.
Yeah.
So we're somewhere together over 200 podcasts. If you include like legacy radio and then as we moved into other adventures together and ended up at On Radio, and this is night number 79 of On Radio, is it not?
Yeah, we're almost at 80, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That far.
Yeah. Well, what is the definition of success when you look at the number of episodes? How do you decide when this thing is working or not?
Yeah, no, that's sort of the thing I kind of researched going into. I've been running my own podcast with some friends and before this, and really they say that whether you've succeeded or not is usually around episode 100, and it's usually because people start trusting you because they see the consistency. There's something magical for some reason about 100 where people look at them like, oh, it's 3 digits. They must be sticking around. And so it's really about building trust with your audience and just sticking around. Yeah.
Well, and two, we've been really blessed to have some of the coolest guests on the wireless planet. You think about it, we've had people from Congress, people from the giant 3-letter and 4-letter bureaucracies from around the world. We've had tower climbers, and I mean, there's everybody in between, and all of them have an interest in seeing safety come out as really a core value, not only for our industry but for the entire wireless ecosystem. So I think they can trust us now.
Yeah, I hope so.
Right on.
Yeah.
I was gone last week, and so Ethan put together kind of a historical montage that was pretty cool to look back on. And but he wouldn't let me do that again this week. He wanted me back. So here I am, folks, and Ethan wanted to know where I was, and I was away.
Yeah, he was away. So I called you, and then you were like, sorry. I'm like, we were busy doing something important. So, what were you doing, Jim?
Well, I was at a golf tournament, and I know that doesn't sound exactly like it was that important, but there's a couple things that come into play. Number one, I was not golfing, and if I did, they had to take out more insurance on any golf course that I grazed. But number two, I was at a charity fundraiser that's hosted by T-Mobile. And it's really become the premier event in the wireless industry, and they raise money for nonprofits, of which one of the selected not-for-profit charities that they elected to support for the 10th year in a row was the Tower Family Foundation. And as you know, that's near and dear to my heart. And we do good work and we take good care of their money, so they picked us again.
Yeah. So, like, what? Tell me a little bit about the Tower Family Foundation. Like, what do they do, and what is sort of their mission statement?
Well, number one, you can always go to towerfamilyfoundation.org and you can
Yeah.
probably read it for yourself. But in the event that you didn't want to, we established the Tower Family Foundation back in 2013,
Okay.
and it is there to provide financial assistance in the form of just a bridge gift to a
Mm-hmm.
family or an applicant who has a tragedy happen on a tower site. And so when we do that, we step in and kind of help in a place of a breadwinner when they're either hurt or in some cases deceased. So
Wow.
it's not a really fun topic to talk about, but it's a great thing to do.
Yeah.
When we take care of the least of these, and these people are at their most vulnerable, I know in my heart of hearts that we're doing the right thing.
Yeah. And they've been around for 10 years. The Tower
10
Family
years.
Foundation. That's
It's
crazy.
crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
didn't realize you guys been around for that long. So, if you weren't golfing, Jim, then what were you doing at the Tower Family Foundation?
When people walk by the hole, my job is to say, "Here's what we do. We're taking good care of your money. 97 cents of every dollar goes to the family, rather than to administrative or overhead." I kind of kid people. I'm like, we don't even own a chair, and if we did have a chair, we wouldn't have an employee to sit in it. So we don't need to buy a chair. And Nate, the folks at Nate have been so
Hmm.
kind to help us with a lot of the administrative stuff like bookkeeping, but really all of our expenses for overhead. We
Hmm.
don't pay rent anywhere. We don't have computers or things like that. What we do is rely on all volunteers, and then Nate kicks in some of the administrative stuff for accounting. We even get
Hmm.
we kind of beat up our accountant or our accountant accounting firm to verify that we're trustworthy and things like that every year. And
Yeah.
other than that, it's all goes to FedEx or to the auditor.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
really cool.
yeah, a lot of money to FedEx because we like to get the money to the folks in a hurry. If you can imagine, something bad happens to the breadwinner, the
Hmm.
needs are immediate, and so within 7 days, we cut a check um, to the family. I mean, like,
Wow.
and what we did is we established a ceiling where we send them a check where it goes right up to the level where they still don't have to report it on their income taxes according to the IRS. And so it is literally a gift from the wireless family and the
Hmm.
people who support the Tower Family Foundation to the families who've incurred sometimes these horrific accidents. So,
Wow. And maybe
yeah.
we'll have time to talk a little bit about Kristen on this call. I don't know if you
Oh,
want
that's
to
going to
talk
be a
about that.
video coming out, right?
Oh, so maybe we should keep that secret, right?
No,
Because
I think we should put a
yeah,
teaser out there, man. I
okay,
think people need to know that there's going to be a really cool video coming out, and but don't tell them what it is. I mean, or
yeah,
tell them a little bit about it so they can touch back in.
yeah. Because I've got to personally experience how the Family Foundation has affected um, someone who lost a member of their family off
Hmm.
a tower through going down and sort of recording the story about that. And um, so you're at the golf tournament for T-Mobile.
Nice
Um,
transition.
oh,
You don't want to
I
give
might
too
know.
much away about that video, do you?
No, no, no. I know how this works.
Okay. Well
Unless you want
done.
to say something about it. Um,
No, it's going to be a most incredible thank you video to T-Mobile and all the donors, in fact, and all the sponsors of that golf tournament who provide so handsomely for our foundation.
yeah, So tell me a little bit more about the golf tournament, as far as like who are some of the, I don't know, who are some of the organizations other than Tower Family Foundation that are supported through that.
Yeah,
And
they're really not for profits that surround
yep.
our wireless ecosystem. and there's a new one, a trucking firm called I forget the actual name, but it's for second chance drivers for folks who've been had some struggles in their life, we'll say. And I don't know enough about it to actually speak really to it, but they sure were nice folks, and they were amazing. And then Learning Alliance, which is creating jobs and training for the Learning Alliance Corporation. Caesar is creating jobs for minority community in the wireless system. And then, of course, one of our all-time favorites is Warriors for Wireless. And Major General Kevin Kennedy was there on hand, as
we've had on the show.
Of those other, he's been on this show, but he was also at the golf tournament, and he is such a great example of putting your talent, skills, gifts, and abilities to work on behalf of someone. And so Warriors for Wireless is kicking out more and more workers into our sector from the military. So salute, Kevin. That's for you, baby. And then, of course, our favorite nonprofit, the one that takes incredibly good care of the money, the Tower Family Foundation. So there were four nonprofits there who all received a $450,000 check from T-Mobile and their sponsors. So, I mean, it's not a small thing that they do when they, fund. They're literally funding the heart of our industry, and that really, it not only looks good, sounds good, but it feels good. It warms your heart to find out that we got folks that are trying to do the right thing at the right time for the right reason in our little wireless industry. So there you go.
That's really cool. And if you want to know more about the work that Kevin does, take some time, go back, look at that episode with Kevin. It's totally worth a listen. He was, I kind of kicked myself. I should have added him to the one of the awesome interviews that we've had in the past, because he was definitely a really good interview.
We will add him again, I guarantee it.
Oh yeah. Maybe when we hit 100, we'll have him. Or maybe we'll just have him come back on the show. That would be really cool. Just have him come back on the show.
You got it. All right. And thanks, folks. And tune in again next week when we finish talking about the T-Mobile golf tournament to benefit the Tower Family Foundation. But until then, like every week, remember, today is the day, and it's a good day to choose safety. This is Jim, and I am out.
Thanks for tuning in today, and join us every week. Tell your people to listen in and subscribe to On Radio, the voice of everything wireless.